I'm going to discuss controls in Visual Basic Programming. This is our lesson number 5 out of 8 lessons. First, let's see. A control is an element on a form. The form itself is a control. To understand this, let's do a practical demonstration. I have already opened Visual Studio IDE and let's go to File, New and Project. Then you have to wait. You can see a new project window here. You have to select Visual Basic and here let's select Windows Forms application and this is our project 1. Let's save it inside on the desktop. I have created a folder with name VB. Inside that one I'm going to save this project. Okay, so after that we can press the OK button. Now you can see the empty form here. We call this a control. Okay, this is also a control. For an example, a button is a control. The button should be selected first, then the properties window shows the properties of the button. Okay, now let's see. If you look at the toolbox, okay, here you can see the set of controls that we can drag and drop to our form. There are many categories. You can shrink them like this. These are the categories of controls. So this will show you all the available controls. And using this one we can access the widely used controls. So you may have heard about buttons, checkboxes, combo boxes, labels, radio buttons, text boxes, this kind of things you have already heard and used when you are using web or any other software application. Okay, and here under containers you can see set of controls. Under this one you can see a set of controls, and likewise using the toolbox we can drag and drop controls to our forms. So first let's see, under common controls you can either double click this one or drag and drop. Now you have a button. Now the button is selected. If you look at the properties window, there you will see the properties related to the button. Okay, if you select the form and go to the properties window, then you will see the properties related to the form. Okay, now the toolbox window can be used to add controls to the form. The set of controls discussed in this lesson is given below. Okay, in this course we are going to use only this set of controls, but once you have learned this set of controls, you can simply Google and learn about the other controls. Okay, the only thing is you have to get the basic knowledge of controls, and this is the first one, button. Okay, so if you look at its properties, there are many properties related to the button. Okay, so using this one you can order them alphabetically, and now I'm going to discuss one or two properties. Okay, one thing is the name property of the button. That is a unique identifier from which we can identify a particular control. And the text property, whatever you write here you will see on top of the button. If you put here my button, something like that, then you will see it here. Okay, and the button name, you can change it to a name, my first or something like this. Okay, and you press the enter. If you double click this one, this is the code relevant to the button, and here you can see the name of the button we have given, and here also we can see the name of the button and dot click. That means this subroutine, okay, this subroutine is executed when we click on the button. Whatever the code we write here, okay, whatever the code you write here will be executed when we press the button. Let's run and see. Now you can see this message box. Now let's move to the next control. It is the checkbox. Now you can double click on this one and get the checkbox to your form. Here, if you select the checkbox and go to its properties, you can see its name. You can change this if you wish. Let's keep it as it is for the time being. And for the text property, you can put anything, any text. Okay, there you can put any text. Okay, then using the button, let's see if checkbox 1 is the name of our checkbox, its check is state is checked. In that situation, let's display checked in a message box. Otherwise, let's display not checked in a message box. Okay, now if you run our program, you can see not checked, and if you put a tick there, you can see it is checked. Okay, in that way you can handle check boxes using conditional logic. Now let's see the next control, combo box. Now let's add the combo box to our form. Okay, now to the combo box you can add items. You select the combo box, and then if you look at the properties window, this is the name of the combo box, and there is a property called items. Okay, if you click this one, using this window you can add items. Let's add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, you can add any number of items here, and then you can press the OK button. If you run your program, here you will see that items you have added, and you can select one of them. Then our next problem is, how can we detect which item has been selected by the user? Okay, in order to do that, let's go to the button code and let's remove the previous part. Here using a message box, let's try to display. This is our combo name of our combo box dot selected item. Okay, so we are going to display the selected item in a message box. Now if you run this, nothing will be displayed because we have not selected anything. If you select something, now you can see it here. If you select this, you will see it here. Likewise, you can access the selected item through your program. And the other thing, another thing, you can access selected index. Selected index. It is another thing. Let's see. It returns -1. That means if you have not selected anything, it returns -1. If you select the very first item, it returns 0. Then if you select this one, it returns 1. If you select this one, it returns 2. If you select this one, it returns 3. If you select this one, it returns 4. It is something like this. It begins with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, the index of the item you can derive using this one, selected index keyword. Okay, so now let's move to the next control, that is label. Okay, that is a label, and you can add one. Okay, this control is used to label, especially if you want to give a label to a text box. Okay, so we can use if you select this control and go to the properties window, there you can see the name and its text property. Here let's say any label you can put. Okay, now you can put this in front of a text box. Okay, that is the purpose of this label control. And now let's move to our next control, list box. Let's add a list box to our form. Okay, this control can be used to display a list of items. Now as in combo box, here if you look at the properties window, you have a collection. Okay, here you can add items. In that way you can add items to the list box. That is one particular way. I will show you how to add items using your code. Here in this button you can use the name of our list box. It is the default name, we did not change it. List box items add. Here you have to specify 1. Okay, now if you run your code, you can see it is added. Okay, so again if you want to add 2 items, list box 1 dot items dot add. Here you specify 2. Now you can see here the 2 items have been added. Okay, that is our list box control. Now let's talk about the radio button control. If you add the radio button, and let's say you want whether you want to check the gender, whether male or a female. You select this first radio button, then change its text to male, and this one its text to female. Okay, likewise you can select the gender. If you look at this, if you click, you can either click this one or this one. Okay, it's compulsory, at least one of them you have to select. Then the thing is, now you should have a way to detect what is the selection of the user. In order to do that, let's program this button accordingly. Let's remove the previous code, and if radio button, this is the name property of our first radio button. Okay, radio button dot checked. If it is true, in that situation, in a message box, let's try to display male. Okay, again we use conditional logic. Checked true, in a message box you display female. Now you can see none of the selections we have done, therefore nothing happens in this situation. If you select this one, it displays male. If you select this one, it yes, no, I have done a mistake. No, let's go back to the code, and here, yes, this is our 2. Okay, radio button 2. In that case, you have to display female. Okay, now let's again run this. Nothing happens. When you click this one, it says male. When you click on this one, it says female. Okay, so that is the functionality of radio buttons. Now we need to understand text boxes. Okay, so here let's add a text box, and let's say we are going to include the name. So you can use this label and have the text box like this. If you select the text box, and this is the name of the text box, let's keep it as it is, and the text property here, it is empty. Therefore, when we run our application, you will see this text box as empty. If you want to see something, write your name here. Now you can see. Okay, let's run this one, and now you will see that text. Okay, now let's program the button such that we can get the text of the text box. Okay, so in a message box, let's try to display text box one dot text. Okay, now you can run this and see this one. If you put your name, I'm going to put my name, you can see it in the message box. Okay, now let's talk about group boxes. Actually, group box and panel, both of them, if you look at the toolbox then and its containers, okay, you can see group box and panel. That means suppose you need to group this one, you need a group box, and you can put this inside. Then you can move like this. Let's change their positions appropriately in this way, and this text property of the group box, we can put it gender, and it is like that. Now you can control. Okay, you can move in this way. Okay, that is the purpose of a group box. Okay, panel is also something like that without a caption. Okay, so to that one we can add certain controls. In this way we can include controls in a panel. Let's run and see. Here group box, it is visible, but the panel is not visible. So in order to make it visible, you can select the panel and change its border style. Let's say fixed single. Okay, in that situation you can see the panel. Okay, those are the controls. Containers. Okay, containers. Panel is a container. A group box is a container. Okay, and that's the that's the set of controls we are going to learn in this course. I did not discuss each and every property related to each control. Discussing each of them is useless. When you develop your applications of your own, you can simply experiment and learn. You can Google and learn. Okay, so we do not have to waste time to discuss each and every property, as well as we are not going to discuss each and every control. Okay, when you do your own projects, you can learn them by yourself. Okay, so that's all about this lesson. Thank you for listening.